Students, welcome to the part 2. So, a birthday letter, as I explained you in the part 1, is a letter written by, not Mahatma Gandhi, I'm so sorry, by Jawaharlal Nehru, given to his daughter, who was 13 years old that time in 1930, sorry. Okay, I'll just write it down so that you understand. So, this letter was written in 1930, and that time Indira Gandhi was or Nehru, she was that time. So I'll just write Nehru in bracket. Later she married Feroz Gandhi and became Gandhi. Feroz Gandhi was a Parsi. Okay. So Indira Gandhi was only 13 years old that time, right, students? So you understand that. So as I explained in the introduction part, that Jawaharlal Nehru wanted to inculcate or wanted to give all the teachings of the world to Indira Gandhi, because he thought now she's 13 years of age, she is mentally becoming a little bit mature, so she'll try and understand what the world is all about. So in this letter, if you see, the core idea is of only two things, students. So one thing is never to hide anything. So I'll write it up. I hope it's visible from here. So never hide anything. Okay. And the second thing is every ordinary person is a hero, right? Any ordinary person can become a hero. Okay, so this letter moves around these two things. So who is telling Indira not to hide anything? Obviously Jawaharlal Nehru is telling Indira Gandhi not to hide anything. Students, one more thing. Later on, Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister, and she was the first female Prime Minister of India. Just trying to give you a little bit more info. Okay, and Jawaharlal Nehru knew that Indira Gandhi is a little girl. She is only 13 years of age, and he is also apologizing Indira Gandhi that I am in Naini prison and I cannot give you any gift that is physical in nature, like flowers, like a book or any toy or any doll, anything like that I can't give you, because right now the circumstances or the situation does not permit me that. Okay, but what he told Indira Gandhi, that even though I can't give you a physical gift, I want to give you much more valuable gift than that. That is this letter. In this letter, there will be many teachings for you that you will, if you become older, okay, and if you think back, you'll understand, yes, these were the teachings of life. This is what Jawaharlal Nehru is trying to say, Indira Gandhi, right? And he's also trying to teach Indira Gandhi that the world, how we are struggling in independence. So students, you please make a note of this, that 1930 was the time. 1930 was the time. So it was like 1947 we got independence. So still India was struggling to get rid of these British people, and we were in the struggle period that time. So that due time and that whole scenario was a very different world. Okay, that was a very different world. Everyone were oppressed. British people were making making Indian people's life hell, okay, in India, right? So we, all the leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, all these people were coming together, making up this meetings and all these things, and trying to get rid of these British people, trying to just be free. That was the aim that time, students. So that you take that mentality in mind, that the situation that we are facing, that we are free, we are free, we have freedom of speech and all the other things, that the basic rights. But that time Indians did not have any basic rights. They were just treated as slaves, right? They were treated as slaves. There was a lot of racism, like the white color is more superior than the browns, because Indians are considered to be as in the category of browns, and blacks as the skin color, right? The skin, right? So we were considered as blacks, browns. We were not given the authority. All the major authorities were lavishly acquired by the Britishers, and we were just considered as dogs. Sorry to say, because you must have heard that saying that dogs and Indians not allowed. So during the British time, Indians were treated as dogs, right? So this was the situation of Indians. There was extreme poverty. Indian people, like everything, nothing was normal, right? I can say that. I can explain in that way that nothing was normal. Like if you see now, everything is normal. It's been a lot of time since we have gained independence, but still we see many places that British, that thing, that seal that they have left is still there on us. If you observe in your daily life, you see these British things are there in us. Like if you take, for example, students, I'm just going off topic because I want you to know the whole idea, what the situation was during 1930, okay? If you take the whole idea of tea. So students, if you take the concept of tea, so tea drinking was not a part of India. We know now we Indians love drinking tea, and in the morning the first thing we do is grab a cup of tea, right? It's not good for health, but that is another topic of the day, okay? So but the thing that I want to tell you is that a tea drinking habit was not Indian, okay? Now it's become too Indian. We have our variety of chais, like the Indian tea and all these things. But back then it was not that. Back then what happened, I want to take you back. What had happened, there were clashes between the British and the Chinese. So Britain used to take tea or purchase tea from China, but then they had these clashes. Then what the British people did, they told that now we need another market because we will not buy tea from China. They rejected their market for some reason, okay? Now they told, okay, so we have India, now we will plant tea in India. So they started planting tea in Assam, and tea became so popular. That time Indians did not like the taste of tea. So British had another way of preparing tea and drinking tea, but Indians did not like that version. So during the 1930s, late 1920s, what happened? They started advertising about tea. They told, now we have so much that, we drink tea, but now what happened that we have to give the tea to Indians also. So we enjoy, we drink, but I think Indians should also taste little tea, right? So what they started advertising in the railway stations and all these places, like if you drink tea, it will refresh you and all these things. And they started making the Indian versions of the tea. Like they started putting jaggery in that, sugar in that, in some versions, so that Indians like that. So Indians started liking it, and that is how that seal of the Britishers is still there right now also, if you observe, students, right? So that is what I'm trying to say, that even that is said now that Britishers left, but they left some people here. There is a very famous saying in Hindi also, right? I know you must have guessed it, what it is in Hindi, right? So this is what happens. This is what influence these British people had created in our mind, that even generations after generations, we try to act a little bit English, right? So this is what I was trying to say, that this scenario that we have right now was not the case. We had a total different world where anyone trying to say anything against the British were put into the prison. And as I told you in the introduction also, students, that Jawaharlal Nehru was put in the Naini prison, and Naini prison is in Allahabad, right, students? And this Naini prison was built during the British Raj that time. So what Jawaharlal Nehru did? Jawaharlal Nehru tried to write a letter where he was trying to address Indira Gandhi, that the world, there are heroic people in the world. There are people who are heroes, men, women, anyone can become a hero. But what you have to become a hero? You have to have the way to influence people. Suppose I want to become a hero, or you want to become a hero, you want to set an example in your society. So first you have to behave like that, and then you can set an example. You just cannot sit at home and say this right, this is not raw, this is so bad, everything is so bad in the world. No, first you should get up, you should fight for the cause. So this is what Jawaharlal Nehru is trying to say, Indira Gandhi, that you can be a hero by acting like a hero and not by sitting and just blaming others, like it is this, it is that. Then he gives example of Gandhiji, that how Gandhiji is a hero of so many people, and he has influenced so many people. He has influenced so many people. Why? Because was he sitting at one place and blaming the Britishers of ruling on our country? No, he fought. He was so physical. He was so vocal about it. So people tried to join him, and then the army became big, and eventually we know the Britishers flew. Right? So to become a hero, first we should act like a hero. So is it that I am born hero or you are born hero? No, everyone is born at the same level, right? The deeds that we do, that matters, right, students? So it cannot be like that I am born in a very condition, or anyone is born in a condition where he cannot fight for himself or anyone. It's not like that. You should have that guts. Another thing that Jawaharlal Nehru addresses Indira Gandhi is that not to hide anything, not to keep secrets. See, students, if you keep secret, it means, or anyone keeps secrets, it means that the person is hiding something. So when you are not scared of anything, then what is the reason to hide? This is the thing that Jawaharlal Nehru wanted to say, that if you are hiding something, it means that you are scared, you are unworthy. That means you are not worthy of your own self. You are not respecting your own dignity. You are not respecting your own self. That is the reason you are getting that need to hide that fact. So if anytime you get the need to hide any fact or anything that is there in your life, it means that you are not worthy of yourself. So students, you find a few words in here. So there are a few words I'll be reading out to you. So there's this word called as sermon, S-E-R-M-O-N. I'll just write it down. They can write it here. Yes. Sermon means lecture. Okay, students, sermon means lecture, right? And then you have this oppressed. You must have heard this word in history also. Oppressed means exploited, exploited by someone, destroyed by someone. Then you have sacred. Sacred means religious, that is very pure, holy. Okay. Unworthy means you are not deserving of yourself, not deserving. Then you have serene means calm. Okay. Students, in the next part we'll be studying about ellipsis. So I'll give you just a few of ellipsis. What is ellipsis? Ellipsis is this, you must have observed this dot, like this dot. After writing something, we just put some few dots, 2-3 dots. That is called as ellipsis. So I'll be explaining you why ellipsis is used and what is the meaning or for what reasons ellipsis is being used. So students, stay tuned. Next part will be coming shortly. Okay students, so we'll meet in the next part. The third part, and we'll be studying ellipses. I've already introduced you what is ellipsis, sorry, not ellipse. Yes, ellipsis is, I've given you over here, ellipsis is a series of dots, right? Series of dots, like 3 dots, like I have made over here. And what does it indicate? It indicates the intentional omission of words or sentences. Intentional omission, it means that intentionally I don't want to speak that word, or I don't want to write that sentence, not speak, sorry, write. So intentionally I don't want to write that word, or intentionally I don't want to speak, or I don't want to write that sentence. Are you understanding? So what is happening, like, it's not that I have forgotten that word, it is not that I have forgotten that sentence, therefore I'll put the 3 dots and then let it go. It's not that. Intentionally, it means I know what I am going to write, but I am intentionally not speaking. I am choosing not to write that. Okay students? So ellipsis, if you see ELLIPSIS, this is the singular if you concentrate on the I. But if you want to have a plural, you will just put E instead of I and it will become a plural. So it will become ellipses. But the singular is ellipses. Okay. So what it indicates? Okay. So it indicates pause. It means it's a short pause that I want to take. It's like a short pause because my mood is changing. I don't want to write it. You know, the reader understands that. It is a thing that the reader eventually understands it. Okay. So below, if you see students over here, so we have expresses. What does ellipse express? What does ellipses? Sorry, it's ellipses. So ellipses expresses in a sentence. If you have an ellipsis, it expresses hesitation. Students, it expresses hesitation. It means I don't want to write that. I want to hold it back to myself. I know what I'm going to write, but I don't want to write. Okay, this is hesitation. Then change of mood. Suppose I'm in full mood and I want to write, but then I later realize, no, let it be. Just I don't want to write. I don't want the world to know what I'm thinking of. So it's a mood change. Okay, then that time also we can use the ellipses. So this is with 3 dots, right? Thought trailing off. It means I thought about something and I was about to write, but then I forgot, or it just went off my mind, right? That is thoughts trailing off. Okay, it just passes through my mind and it just gets trailed off. So this is the time when ellipsis is used, and this is the expression of ellipsis. What does ellipsis express? Okay students, so we'll go to the examples and we'll see what examples we have in the ellipsis. Students, if you observe this example over here, so you'll notice this is the first example and this is the second example. So the first example, you see the ellipsis, right? This is the ellipsis. These 3 dots, right? So I don't know, I'm not sure. So what is happening over here, students, if you notice that I don't know, then I'm hesitating to say, okay? Then I'm hesitating, or I want to hold back, I don't want to say it, right? Or either the thought of the thing is trailing off, just going through my mind, I don't want to say it, or I have forgotten it. So what I put? Ellipses, and then I'm not sure. Are you understanding? See the mood of the sentence. I don't know, I'm not sure. So you were about to say something, but you don't want to say. Your mood has changed, or you were intentionally hesitating to say that I don't know, you know it, but you don't want to say it. So you put the ellipsis, right? Next, if only she had, then you see the ellipsis. Oh, it doesn't matter now. right? So what is happening here? If only she had, you can clearly make out that the speaker doesn't want to say, right? If only she had, he is about, or the speaker is about to say something, then he held back, he is hesitating, sorry, there's a change of mood, right? Are you understanding? Or there is a thought trailing off, forgetting something, right? So you can clearly see in the sentence, right? If only she had ellipses. Oh, it doesn't matter now. So the speaker is trying to say if only she had. So he's not saying intentionally if only she had what. That is the main question. So he is intentionally hesitating. He doesn't want to say. Or the thing is, the speaker is forgetting, trailing off, right? So this is these were the examples, okay? So there's another example I'll read out to you. So he said, I, then there are ellipses, really don't, ellipsis, understand this. He said, I, ellipsis, really don't, ellipsis, understand this. It means, ellipsis means, I what? There's a question mark. That means the speaker doesn't want to say what. Really don't, what? Really don't understand. That's the question. So either the speaker's mood has changed, he doesn't want to say it, right? Or the speaker is intentionally trying to hide what is being said or from the main idea, or he wants the listener or the person whom he is talking to understand himself what he is about to say, right? So this is ellipsis. I hope you have understood what is ellipsis, and I hope you have understood the lesson also. So this lesson was a birthday letter written by, it's a letter written by Jawaharlal Nehru to Indira Gandhi, who was Indira Nehru that time, and in 1930 this letter was written when Indira was only 13 years of age, right, students? So students, if you have enjoyed watching this video and if you have understood a lot of things, so I want you to subscribe my channel, subscribe the channel, like, share it with your friends, okay, not friends, you can share it with among yourselves also, right? And if you have any doubts related to anything, if you have anything that you want to ask me, if you have any doubts arising, you can email on the email ID provided, right? Or you can even comment down. If you have any queries, you can comment down in the comment section that we didn't understand this, can you take this thing again? I will be happy, more than happy to help you, right, students? So hope you have enjoyed this part, hope you have enjoyed this lesson. Nothing was too complicated in this, only I think ellipsis was something very new for you all, and now I think you have understood. So students, will meet in the next video. Take care of yourselves and your family, stay indoors, stay safe, wash your hands regularly. So till then, goodbye.